Do you know that social media is bad and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome to National Orientation Agency Rivers State Dialogue, a platform where we weekly sensitize citizens on government policies, programs and activities. If you recall, we started a topic last week, 2023 Census, what Nigerians should know. Today we'll be doing the part 2 of that topic. And like you all know, it's our tradition to bring highly resourced persons into the studio to discuss every topic. Today is not an exception, as I have with me from my left, Mr. AWOLAYEOFORI, MACMORRISON Harry, of the HAVIDS Center for Environment and Development. Thank you. We have Mr. Frank ENE-AWAJI, Public Policy Analyst in the studio. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you in our studio. So viewers, if you're with us already, do well to share so others can join us and hear what we have to say.
That the 2023 census will come up, and it is for housing and population.
Okay, what's the aim of the census?
The aim of the census is to assist planning for development.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Chief Israel, would want to ask, census is a community-based program. Do you think communities are keen in and waiting for the census to start? Mr. ENE-AWAJI, you were in our studio during the last section, and you did mention that the aim...
The process and the implementation also, because see, the foundation was faulty. So for me as a Nigerian, I pray that this coming one should be devoid of hanky-panky or suspicion, so that the end result will be used by the government and by the people. Like last week, I listened to Rivers. I pray that there should be no suspicion, no falsification of figures, because I believe as a Nigerian, I have seen that the 2006 census was in many places falsified. We didn't have the accurate figure. You know, in this country, we don't want to tell ourselves the truth. I'm talking on the international platform today. Most of the things I was an enumerator. A community maybe of 1,000 persons or people. You will hear that the Uganda are bloated out of proportion. So the government knew also that this what we are having now is not the real facts. And so we can also have the real implementation. That's what I'm saying. Now that we are going to do a census in this 2023, may we be factual, even though there was also a kind of room for manipulation, but not in the minimal. That's my concern.
Viewers, you've heard Mr. ENE-AWAJI. He said the faults came from both counting and implementation because the figures were falsified. We want to believe that due to the digitalization of this process this time, this will be digitalized. Hence, people would not need to travel to their hometowns. Do you think this would have effect on the developed regions where people migrate from to cities?
What do you call digitalization? Is it by using the phone? How is it going to be captured? Those are questions that should be asked. When you say digitalization, it should be that, one, you're using the digital platforms to enumerate. How are they going to be captured? Is it by the way of using our tablets or whatever? And we have known, or we have seen with what happened in the recent election. So a lot of people are afraid that they promised us an election that is digitalized and it is not. So what do you call digitalization? The number of people. They are saying it will be is going to be de facto. What is the de facto they are talking about? to tell me that they know the number of people that are in the particular house.
Financial burden of it on the nation at this moment.
Already there was a kind of reaction before now. But the government have waved it aside that they are capable to do it. And billions of naira have been set aside for the project. I think this, they started preparation over about 2 years ago for us, because now we have delayed. According to my own understanding, census is supposed to be every 10 years. But this, as you can see, we have so many additions added to it. For me, so far as the government is willing to do it, and the evacuation process was done on state basis. What American went there for American citizens, but for Nigeria to be evacuated from Sudan, they were done in which state are you from, state of origin, which many of us are clamoring that it should be expunged in our national assignment. That for me to be a Nigerian, I should have benefits, irrespective of where I come from. And that's what's killing this country. You spend my body, you look at my assets. You know, Frank is from social place, he's a Rivers man. So when I go to Abuja man will not allow me to go to Asarok. This census want to clean such mess. Because like you've asked, yes, like my colleague have said, we are doubting the outcome of the election. But if this census can give us a hope, fine. The machine will not have any problem. Let me also say it here. The human element who are going to man the machine, are they going to be sincere? Here I talked about sincere purpose. Are we going to sincere to man the machine to give us what was garbage in and what will be garbage out? Because one, if I don't go to my village to do this census, and I tell the one who is operating the device that I'm from a particular place, I speak Obolo, that's my language, Obolo. That person will be able to put my name and say, where are you from? Which state? My locality, I will put. But whereby the person will look at, I am ignorant, but of course we be ignorant. The enumerators, facilitators will be able to educate those people that they want to capture. The process will determine the end result. Let those money spent that will be spent on this census is too big. We should not waste this money. In the end, they will all of us begin to go for to court to a kind of this figure is not true. The figure of the community is maybe undergiving, underestimated. For me, I feel it's a good effort to know the number of people in Nigeria, to be able for the government to plan for us. But nobody should play hanky-panky on the ignorant Nigerians. So we can have a relief from the shock of the election, that this device will work and give us what we are looking for.
Thank you so much, Mr. ENE-AWAJI. Viewers, you've heard him. He said the machines may work properly, but the human factor, those operating the machines will be the problem we would have. We want to expect that the adult staffs operating this machine will do the right thing this time. Thank you so much for your contribution. Those who are also saying that there's a huge logistics attached to the census. Mr. ENE-AWAJI just stated that we shouldn't look at that. If the government said they are ready to conduct census, we should all look at the positive outcome of the census. Thank you very much. I'm back to you again, sir. We've also had a lot of Nigerians complain about the timing, that it's a transitioning period for Nigerians, government changing hands, and the census should be on hold until the new government comes in. Do you think this has anything to do with the transition at all?
That is a difficult thing for me and for a lot of people, because this is a transition period. It's going to start for about 10-11 days, and with the way things are going, a lot of people are not sure that it will really hold. You know, it has been postponed twice or thereabout, and lots of those things they had planned are not common. I understand there are still training going up, and the training going up is not at the enumerators level, it's still at the facilitators level, and they've not been able to train those people. So when are they going to train those people? And we know we have about 3-4 days to go.
Yes, sir.
How many days are they going to train them? And even the facilitators, I understand, are having some issues. So when and how? Maybe what will happen, because I think that the government should have the willpower, the commitment, because they have been speaking to the Nigerian public, they've been speaking to the foreign partners. So we believe that it will come up, because they are also hoping that they will use it as one of their deliverables for this term. You know, you can't start something and hand over to another government. The next government will use it as one of the first things. But you know, whatever Nigerians are doing, there is that political element to it, and you know, and that is what a lot of people are having doubts on, because we are coming back from the political season, so there is that element of politics in it. You know, you were asking for people going to their villages and not going. You know, a lot of people will ask what came up during their period and all those work.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Viewers, before we continue, we would want to open our phone line so you can call in and contribute. Our phone line is 234-9166-587355. We have it displayed on the screen. Thank you very much. So you were actually analyzing something. You said you feel there may be a shift in the census. What if there is no shift? What effect will this have, since they have not been training up enumerators and supervisors?
It will come up to what our brother has said, that the human factor, you know, whatever you do.
The last one that was done in 2016, at least 2016 then. So 17 years behind the line. Like my colleagues here have said, you see, apart from the rainy season, which will be a challenge to us if not properly tackled, because when the rains are on, back up with the tab, the technology-based tab they have to use, they cannot just expose it to rain and all the rest. Also, another possibility of assessing those communities when the rains are on, transportation problems, security problem, and all the rest. We also have another challenge which we feel the Commission should also look into. I must be in my house for you to, my place of residence, for you to count me, ask me questions. What will happen with the community? The King and the Council of Chiefs have made a provision whereby we begin to pass town criers, notifying people that the census is coming, likely things they will see during this period and all the rest. The level of publicity carried on by the National Population Agent, to me, is below average. It's below average. If not for partnering agencies like you, people are not aware. We are supposed to see some of the officers in our respective communities with their verses telling the people that from next week, the census wants to come up. And not seeing that also give us another doubt that if truly whether the census will hold as a schedule. But we're trying our best, where we meet with CDCs in our clusters, telling the people that this thing is important, you don't need to waste your time to go.
Israel. Viewers, you've heard him. He said we need to make sacrifices and ensure that the census holds. It's long overdue. So come rain, comes down, we should make sacrifices to ensure that it holds. You've also heard him say that communities are already carrying on publicity. He's saying NPC has not done a good job when it comes to creating awareness about the census. But thank God for partnering agencies and community leaders like your community who are already creating awareness through town criers and other methods. We do hope that we get the desired result this time. Mr. Frank, sir, there was a news this morning, it was on the news rather, that MPC has announced a 3 days restriction movement. I'm sure you saw it this morning, that there have been a 3-day restriction movement for the purpose of census. Do you think this is necessary considering
meanings, as if the meanings are not in the dictionary? A digital census. It doesn't need restriction for crying out loud. There should not be restriction. The moment you limit my movement, what else? You should also allow us to go to our villages like we did in 2006. Why are you restricting people's movement? Then it means also there's no database. We need to have database. The only thing that I see that we have database in this country is about international passport. So I have to tell you the truth because I've done it.
Even that.
That's the only thing that we have database.
Even that.
That if you key in your information, it will say that you are really there. But let me tell you, for election we just did, some of us have more than one voter's card, and there was no detection by the machine. Yes, I know what I'm saying. I practice. I report. I'm a reporter. So they just have more than 4 voter's card. So what happened to the machine detecting when I key in my information? So registered there, went to the right side and registered, and yet they printed out voter's card. I'm not saying what I don't know. I'm saying what I know. I didn't do it because I want to be honest in this country to see how we can move this country forward. So restricting people's movement is also a kind of a ploy to undermine the quest of Nigerians having credible census. But ordinarily, if the device or devices are going to work properly, it should detect me if I want to do something. Like he just said, even if it's not in the house, it should be seen outside. That's how it should be done. Even you can go to package this restriction of movement for census. But even last time we did, there was no restriction of movement. Someone should inform me. So tell me to want to do like election, and this will take about no more than 2 days, 4 and 3 days. We want to restrict people from going out to look for their daily bread. For me, I don't subscribe to that. Therefore, let the National Population Census look at the alternative. So far as you have the gadgets working properly, there is no need for fear. Because see, as we have seated here, and whether they are coming here and also take us, count us, go out. That's how we can get. So anybody who wants to do 2 times, the machine will detect. I don't know why we are not doing it well in this country. Like he also said, let me turn to issues. The exercise for training has not been done by enumerators, and they are the field workers who is deceiving us here in this country. May in Nigeria will be on Monday. Some people will enter before Monday. I'm told to go in international time frame. May will start on Monday in Nigeria, and in May is the census. And the field workers are not trained today. So, like I said, it is subject to postponement also. Because that time we did, I was also trained for about a week. So without training, how do you go out? They should not also play hanky-panky on Nigerians. Because for me, this is a night, like my chief said, we have been yearning for. We don't want disappointment. Let the government be sincere. Because if we get it right, we will know the population of Nigerians who are living in this country, even strangers. Let me tell you, some countries are very small. Like Israel, is about 9 million plus. And yet they catch up with the population. But in Nigeria, let me tell you, all of us want to go to America. I see people coming to do a international passport. Population of America is bigger than Nigeria. About 300-something million. The landmass of America is about 5 times bigger than Nigeria. And yet, Nigerians are hustling to go to America every day. Why? Because there is proper planning for the population. Both the facilities there on ground. But in Nigeria, from the onset, we don't get it right. And look at what is happening now. Restriction of movement. We have done it in election. what to do in census will take more than 2 days. No, now, please, those who are at the end of affairs about this census should rethink to avoid suspicion also of the exercise.
Just to add,
okay.
He has mentioned about the census, and we also know about the identity management. They are all part of the database, and you see that they also promised us that when you synchronize your what do they call it? Your identity, your identity to your telephone, they will know you. They will who have been doing it. But you see that even with that, there is still kidnap, and they don't get them. So where are we going with our technology?
Trying to go to America because he sees them coming to do passport. Who even told him they are going to America?
No, sorry. Without anybody telling me, I'm a reporter, I investigate matters. People are working harder to leave this country where the thing that is already planned on ground for housing to manage the population. Are you aware that in this country now, as I'm talking to you, family planning is a problem in this country? As I'm talking, family planning is a problem in this country.
My brother, you want to travel, or people want to travel?
No, I'm trying. I want to remain in Nigeria.
And resolving critical issues bothering us as a nation. Thank you so much for that contribution, Bridget Idemio. Samuel Archibald, I am watching. Thank you so much for watching. Young Ayo Terminal is here listening to the resource persons. Thank you so much for listening, sir. Before we come back to messages, sir, I want to ask Mr. Henry. We just analyzed the news this morning. On that news, it was also stated that the dates, it will be communicated to Nigerians if it will still hold on the 3rd after meeting with the governors. So it got me thinking, and I want to hear your own opinion too. Is the date dependent on our governors now, or MPC as a body?
I mentioned that the government, if they have the willpower, if they have to put up something to tell the particular day, we are hopeful that it will hold.
Okay, there's something confusing about this meeting. Like you just said, when will the meeting hold? And do you think it's going to be on majority-minority basis? If the governor of Rivers State is ready, and then the governor of the Benue State isn't ready, would census now hold here and not hold there? So it has to be on the basics. What do you think this meeting is about?
I've not seen meetings that, except when they hold political meetings, I've not seen meetings that they don't agree. Even the ones that they agree, they still renege on them. So the basic thing is that they need to be meeting to know if they are ready. MPC is supposed to be the driver. The MPC is supposed to be the driver, but perhaps there is something they know we don't know, and they have not told us. But basically, they are the ones that should tell us that they are ready.
Okay, thank you so much for that contribution. Chief Israel, as a community leader, this is a federal project. Census is a federal thing. And then they are saying they need to meet with governors to ascertain the dates of this census. As a community leader, is there a way NPC will come and say census is holding on the 3rd, and then communities will say they are not ready? What effect would that have on?
Well, first and foremost, I used to tell people that I have no other country other than Nigeria. And as a Nigerian, one morning, the National Population Commission wakes up tomorrow and says that the census is going on tomorrow. If the original intent of the commission is to have a good census, to gather real information for national planning and development, they must put the necessary things in place for them to achieve that. you don't expect us that a particular program is coming up tomorrow, and as at 6 a.m. today, we are not aware that it's coming up tomorrow. You have just succeeded in telling the people that you don't want to achieve success. We are ready, but as I've said earlier, the National Population Commission is not doing enough publicity, because by now people should be able to know a kind of pre-information or mock census in the community. People should be aware of what they are expecting, the likely questions that they will ask people, what if the people come, they will do, and all the rest. On our part, we are trying, because, as I've said earlier, it is something that is long overdue. So it's like it is we now that are now forcing ourselves on the commission to come and do the census, but they have not given us the green light that the census is going to hold on the top. Sincerely, I must say that.
Viewers, you've had Chief Israel. MPC as the driver have not given us the green light that census will hold. However, we as Nigerians are ready, prepared, and waiting for a go-ahead. Let's go back to reading messages. Peter Ikabe is saying 2023 census is to produce accurate, reliable, and acceptable population figures. Data emanated from this exercise will be used by all segments of the society for development, planning, and critical program interventions. 2023 census will meet global best standards and usher us in creation of more constituencies. We have all our guests smiling to this now. So we want Mr. Frank ENE-AWAJI to say something about that.
Yes, ordinarily, that's how it should be. If we have for this money now, funding is not problem, because I know, European Union is funding this project. US is funding this project. Because even the one of 2006, European Union funded it very well, even produced of the materials.
Yeah.
And US is going to fund this one. What? And I ask myself, for how long should we be waiting for outsiders to fund our project that should make us know who we are? That's my worry. So I pray, because to get it right too, there should not be political undertone. Please.
Thank you very much.
Because this is like the one I said, it's about constituency. Because the man will begin to manipulate the figure too, to outnumber my own village. When my own village is about 20,000 people, the other village is about 10,000. We now have become 30,000. It's not the real figure. So for me, I pray that Nigerians should be sincere. Donors should be sincere. Mr. President should be sincere. The incoming administration should also be sincere, because what is killing this country is not about the name Nigeria. It's about the state of mind of the people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frank. Thank you so much for that contribution. Viewers, he said something that really struck me. He said we'll fail at everything. I just hope we don't fail this time, so that in the minds of Nigerians like Mr. Frank ENE-AWAJI, we would get something right for the first time.
Amen.
Thank you. Rosemary Abeha, these census things are going wrong in this country, and we should try and match our words with action by doing the right thing to save our great nation from shame and disgrace. Thank you so much for that contribution. Ifi Amucheze, there is a heightened concern as to the reason for the previous postponement of the housing and population census. However, with the anticipated 3rd May date, what is the level of preparedness of the National Population Commission to achieving a successful census? Resource persons already said a lot about this. They perceive another postponement. You said that, sir.
Yeah. Even the major field workers, they have not been trained. So there's every doubt for me that we postpone.
There's also doubt for all of us, sir. Samuel Achibad, I answer. Samuel Achibad, when you are counted where you stay and your place of origin is less, if government amenities are allowed according to number of persons in a location, what happens to areas that have less population because their people did not come home to be counted. This is our major concern. So we would want our community leader to still...
Well,